Well, it looks like some government officials now want the 9/11 trials to take place at a military tribunal instead of a civilian courtroom. But how do the people who lost a loved one that day feel about that possibility? Manny Badillo is one of those people. He joins me live from our New York studio. Hi there, Manny. So we've been talking a lot about this back and forth with this trial. It seems like the military tribunal option is actually becoming the more realistic one, even though Vice President Joe Biden has said that it's the less preferable way to go. Your uncle was tragically killed in the 9/11 attacks. You have such a personal connection with all of this. What is your reaction?
Well, my reaction is very simple. The trials need to be held. They need to be held here. They need to be held in a civilian court where the evidence can come out. Evidence that's still being collected. Over 1,800 body parts have been found just in the last 2 years alone. The fact is, we need to have this trial to show the world the evidence that the United States has collected and has refused to give to the family members, the survivors, the first responders, those most intimately connected with the crime, with this unsolved crime, this mass murder, which begs for a new investigation. We need to have a trial in order to get the evidence out in the public forum through a court of law so people can come to their own conclusions about the weight of that evidence and the weight of the charges against these 5 accused.
What kind of evidence are you talking about here, and what do you think the U.S. government may be trying to hide?
Well, when only 30% of questions posed by the family members were ever answered in the original 9/11 commission, when you have the majority of the commissioners saying that, there needs to be more given to us for the people of the world and especially the family members to understand what happened to their loved ones. We're talking evidence that is being suppressed. We're talking, how about the scientific forensic evidence, the evidence that Niels Harrit and Stephen Jones and Kevin Ryan found, the highly engineered military-grade explosives that were found in the debris and the dust of the World Trade Center. How about that evidence that just might be within the lungs of the sick and dying by the tens of thousands first responders who are dying of ailments that we don't really even know about, but that the U.S. government is withholding much-needed financial aid for to get them back to health? We have to find out what happened, and now is the time to do it. We need this trial here in New York.
Manny, people still talk a lot about security concerns, that having this trial in New York City would actually pose a threat to that. And we have been hearing sort of different facts when it comes to this from Vice President Joe Biden and some police commissioners in New York City. They seem to have a different take on how this would affect New York security. What do you think? Is this going to pose some kind of threat?
This is going to pose no threat at all. Essentially, what we find is this controversy that has been started by the U.S. government, peddled through the controlled corporate media here in the U.S., really is no conspiracy at all, controversy at all. We need to find the answers. That is completely nonpartisan. There should be no controversy whatsoever. What I feel is that this is just another divide and conquer tactic to split the masses up into one side against the other. Ultimately, all of us need to find out what happened on that day. The evidence stands right now where there is a lot of questions concerning government complicity in the events of 9/11. Let's get that evidence out there for us to find out what really happened.
Interestingly enough, Vice President Joe Biden actually kind of accused Mayor Bloomberg of inflating the security cost. What do you think really happened here?
It's just political show. It's just there's more than enough money to cover this trial. The fact is there's a false left-right paradigm. You want to get Republicans all riled up, Democrats riled up. It's unfortunate. Family members, survivors, first responders are being used again. We're divided. We need to know the answers. We've never been given them properly. We need a fact-driven, a comprehensive investigation. A trial is going to allow for us to get the evidence out. 80,000 New Yorkers last year signed a petition alone to vote on that fact-driven, comprehensive investigation. Let this trial stand in civilian court. Let us find out the information. Let's find out what happened to my Uncle Thomas Joseph Scroy, 3,000 other innocents during the unsolved crime of 9/11.
So you're saying politics still at play here, even with such a sensitive issue. Manny Badillo, live there for us in our New York City studios. I do want to thank you for your